I couldn't face the chat. I'm not a breakdown, but I just can't. I couldn't face the chat. I need to have a break. I'm going to do it. So I've opened it. I've actually opened it now.
Today's question asks if I can provide a few examples of narcissists who play the victim. This type of narcissist looks for people to have compassion and sympathy for them when it's not warranted by the circumstances. They tend to deceive. They exaggerate or fabricate stories of loss, oppression, or persecution, and then try to make sure that everybody knows about their story. They may promote it through social media, by telling people in person, any way they can get the word out there, again, about the story they made up. Now, this type of narcissist is usually thought of as a vulnerable narcissist. As opposed to a grandiose narcissist. A grandiose narcissist is typically socially dominant, confident, and resistant to criticism. The vulnerable narcissist has a lot of shame, they're resentful, insecure, and they're hypersensitive to criticism. Just like with many behaviors, this playing the victim behavior occurs on a continuum. There are people who tend to play the victim a little bit, and then there are people who really just go over the top. And that's what I'm really talking about here. The people that really take this behavior to the extreme, even to the point where the behavior can become criminal, like staging a scene or situation to look like a crime has occurred against them.
One troll tonight said, I'm waiting outside your house. I'm going to kill you and put you in a body bag. And I've taken the picture and I've sent it off. They might be just nice old ladies thinking they're running me down. They're inciting people to murder. Alpine Stroll, I know where you live. What do you think of that? And who's supporting them? A public figure, Junior. Junior's supporting these people to do this stuff. They're trying to get me killed.
So this is the type where somebody makes a criticism or provides feedback to the narcissist, and that narcissist attacks that person.
Just to summarise, she was one of AD's biggest supporters. She then kind of challenged AD on, I think it was when he made his video about the truck window being blacked out. You know, he was saying that the mainstream media would put a black block across the truck window. You know, it was complete rubbish, and I think Summer challenged him on that, and she was kind of almost bullied off the channel from there.
So picture criticism in an analogy where the criticism itself is a tennis ball, right? So the non-narcissist just catches the ball. They throw the ball at the non-narcissist. The non-narcissist just catches it. The grandiose narcissist deflects the ball, right? So they kind of shift their body to the side. It hits them and kind of deflects away, right? So the grandiose narcissist doesn't really worry too much about criticism. The vulnerable narcissist hits that tennis ball right back to the person who threw it. So they just hit it back and they don't catch it first. They don't look at it. They don't examine it, right? It's just almost reflexive.
what exactly is critical thinking? It's the act of deliberately analyzing information so that you can make better judgments and decisions. It involves using things like logic, reasoning, and creativity to draw conclusions and generally understand things better. Critical thinking has a wide range of applications in the real world. It can help you to make better decisions, become more hireable, and generally help you to better understand the world around you.
This is bringing up a sore topic on purpose. Sometimes the vulnerable narcissist brings up a sensitive topic because they know that this will cause somebody to suffer. They make it seem casual. So the thoughts here, I like to see people suffer without my actions being the obvious cause of that suffering, so I cannot be blamed. This is stealing credit for someone else's work. This is fairly common in work settings when we see vulnerable narcissism. The first thought, it makes me so mad that your work is better than mine because I'm much better than you in every way. The vulnerable narcissist temporarily acts confident and domineering in a social situation, so they're acting more like a grandiose narcissist. This may be a situation where a person is watching this, not necessarily the target of the behavior. So the thoughts here, I'm as strong as a grandiose narcissist, right? So this is in line with the theory that a vulnerable narcissist is really, in some ways, a failing grandiose narcissist. The narcissism is incomplete. The next thought, I want you to see that I have power so that you will follow me. So this is the thought if they want to recruit narcissistic agents, people who will help them conduct and get away with their bad behavior. This situation, though, with the narcissist who plays the victim, they're just engaging in a number of irrational and dramatic activities to attract attention. Typically, these types of narcissists are unsuccessful. I've seen a few exceptions to this, but not many. Typically, this is an individual who has attempted to succeed. They've attempted to gain attention for a positive reason, but they have failed. So in the conventional competition we see in society, the race for status, power, wealth, affection, a good job, the narcissist has not been able to compete. And realizing they can't win in a conventional game, they rewrite the rules. They turn things around and try to gain attention for a negative reason. And of course, again, as I mentioned, they fabricate situations. They make up things. They have a high level of neuroticism and they're quite callous, so they lack empathy. So if we combine this with the criminal activity that we often see, many would qualify as being sociopathic. Sometimes they plan out their victim role quite carefully, although much of the time it's actually impulsive. They don't think through it much at all. This type of narcissist is unusual in the sense that typically a narcissist wants attention for a positive reason. They want people to recognize how great they are, how beautiful they are, how successful they are. This type of narcissist, though, is really looking for somebody to feel sorry for them, to recognize that they have it worse than anyone else. It's really an odd expression of narcissism that doesn't really fit perfectly with our understanding of narcissistic personality. Because of this poor fit, some have made the argument that a person who plays the victim like this may have some narcissistic characteristics, but they would not qualify for a diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder. I think in some cases they actually could qualify for NPD. I don't think that would be unusual, and often they would have features from other cluster B personality disorders as well, like histrionic and antisocial.